redeemed, rehabilitated, and real entertaining. This is the Carl Jackson Podcast.
Shalom, and welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Carl Jackson Show podcast. Got a bang up show for you today. What's up with the Democrats' fake hero crisis? That's right. Democrats have a fake hero crisis. I'm getting ready to outline four or five stories here where what I'm going to try to do is build the case that our society is in trouble because the people that are running it have a fake hero crisis. Whether it's Brittany Griner, the black lesbian that was traded for an arms dealer, the merchant of death, whether it's Sam Brinton, the first, gender fluid federal employee that had a problem with luggage theft. I mean, I can go on and on, whether it's this SBF guy whose now charges have been filed against him, whether it's the gatekeepers of free speech, the former Twitter execs that were censoring Donald Trump and supporters of Donald Trump and conservatives across their platform that's supposed to be neutral. It's insane, but the left has a fake hero problem. They worship all of these people, identity politics, and these academics and these oligarchs in Silicon Valley, and all of it is just fake. There's nothing behind it. There's no substance behind it. And our society is in complete and utter trouble if we keep following these morons. We have to beat them at the ballot box. We have to figure out a way to beat them, and we have to restore our constitutional republic. But we're going to go through every single one of these stories, including, I almost forgot the crackhead, Hunter Biden, and the mob boss. That's who Joe Biden is. Joe Biden isn't the president-elect. He is the mob boss that happens to be in the White House, and he's suffering from early signs of dementia at the very least. But that's who we're dealing with. So fake heroes. That's the problem that the left has. They have a fake hero crisis. I'm not going over the cliff with these fake heroes. I'm going to pay attention to real American heroes. I'm always going to uplift our Constitution, the Bill of Rights, our Judeo-Christian values, and I'm always going to honor those of which, where honor is due. But I'm not going to listen to the media and the academics and all of these morons that haven't built a society. I'm going to go back to our roots, our Judeo-Christian values. Now, before we get started, before we go any further, I want to remind you to please subscribe to the podcast wherever podcasts are found. You can go to Apple, you can go to Google, Spotify, YouTube, Rumble. Please subscribe to our YouTube and Rumble channels. It'll really help us if you subscribe, like, and share those videos. Help us to expand our reach, if you will. Also, please, help my sponsors out. I have some great sponsors that are now backing the Carl Jackson Show podcast. Let me talk to you about our latest sponsor, and that is Patriot Gold Group. Major banks are forecasting a 25% stock market plunge. The only break in inflation is through a recession. Rich Dad, Poor Dad author Robert Kiyosaki said, and I quote, "The economy is the biggest bubble in history," close quote. Kiyosaki bought more gold, predicting $3,000 an ounce in a year. And billionaire economists agree that we're heading toward a recession, and investors need to buy gold. Call the Patriot Gold Group today. All you have to do is mention the Carl Jackson Show and get best-in-class service from Patriots protecting Patriots. You can give them a call at 888-534-3665 for a free investor guide today. Also, don't forget Mike Lindell, MyPillow, the great founder and CEO there that is providing American jobs, American manufacturing, American products. Right now, MyPillow is excited to announce the original My Slippers are back in stock just in time for the holidays. Last Christmas, you made My Slippers the number one selling MyPillow product, and now they've added smaller sizes, larger sizes, wide sizes, and all new colors. What makes My Slippers different is the exclusive 4-layer design that you're not going to find in any other slippers. Those things are so comfortable. It is unreal, guys. All right. My Slippers patented layers make them ultra comfortable, extremely durable, and they help relieve the stress on your feet from all the running around that you're going to be doing this Christmas season. You can wear them anytime, anywhere, and you get to save $90 off by using the promo code Carl. $90 off by using the promo code Carl. That's only $49.98 a pair. Christmas is coming up fast, so don't delay. You'll absolutely love my slippers. And now they're also extending their 60-day money back guarantee, guys. That's good until March 1st, 2023, making them the best Christmas gifts ever. So go to mypillow.com, use that promo code Carl, or give them a call at 1-800-858-0263. Again, the promo code is Carl, C-A-R-L, to save $90 on the My Slippers. That's only $49.98 a pair. But don't wait long because they're going to be gone. Once supplies are gone, they will be gone. And then also, Epic TV. Guys, if you're looking for a censorship-free video platform with original news programs like Crossroads, Larry Elder Show, Facts Matter. I know you guys miss Larry Elder. The Larry Elder Show, Facts Matter, American thought leaders and documentaries investing in critical issues that are not covered anywhere else. Make sure you subscribe to Epic TV. You can go to watchepic.com/Carl Jackson to subscribe. Again, that's watchepic, EPOCH.com/Carl Jackson and to subscribe. You're going to get unbiased news there, where real important news is reported there that other media outlets ignore. You're going to get people that you trust. They are truthful. They report just the facts and trust their discerning viewers like you and I to arrive at our own conclusions. They're resilient despite the attacks from many sides and defamation from other media groups, thugs burning of their printing presses and assaulting their journalists. The Epic Times continue to dedicate themselves to reporting truth. So make sure you check them out and subscribe. Again, go to watchepic.com/Carl Jackson. That's watchepic.com/Carl Jackson to subscribe. And listen to this. If you decide to subscribe, within the next, it's about 10 or so days remaining. It's just $1 for 2 months. So again, watchepic.com/Carl Jackson and subscribe. Okay, let's talk about the left's fake hero crisis. And we're going to bring in the news of the day to talk about this. But let's talk about the left's fake heroes. Again, you got the gatekeepers of journalism, the fake gatekeepers, I don't even know what you would call them. These morally bankrupt people in Silicon Valley that are trying to determine speech. We're going to go through Twitter Files part 5 because I think that's very, very important. I won't go through all of it, but we will go through a good portion of it. Also, the Hunter Biden story. Hunter Biden is doubling down. He has hired an attorney from Hollywood. He wants to be aggressive against the GOP's investigations that look like they are going to be happening once the GOP take control of the House beginning on January 3rd. So he's got an attorney and he wants to go after the GOP or handle this thing aggressively. He's looking to sue, perhaps, or allegedly, he's looking to sue Fox News, Eric Trump, some of the outlets and conservative personalities that I've heard of thus far. I hope he does. Because that means that his behind will have to be deposed. That means that we'll get discovery. All right. And then his name will be in the headline for all to see for quite some time. They won't be able to hide this story. Thank God Twitter is relatively, for the most part, open now where we can share that story. So all these independents that weren't able to see that story will be able to see that story. And I just saw a stat somewhere on Breitbart. Forgive me, I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but an overwhelming percentage of people, I believe it was over 70% or around 70% of people polled, according to Breitbart. I'm not sure where that poll came from, but so I'll have to go check that out. All right. But according to that poll, those people said it would have likely changed, and I'm paraphrasing, would have likely changed their vote, right, for Trump against Biden. All right. So that was a huge news story. Twitter knew exactly what they were doing when they hit that story. So we're going to get into the latest when it comes to those Twitter files. Again, you got Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF, the founder CEO of FTX, arrested. Some of the charges have come out. I'll talk to you about that. Yesterday, I told you guys, forgive me, I told you guys I would get to Brittany Griner and Paul Whelan. I didn't want to spend a lot of time in there, but I forgot to get to it at all. So we're just going to include it in today's podcast. that's going to be entitled Dems or Democrats Fake Hero Crisis or Fake Hero Problem, one or the other. But I think this is very important. It actually gives me hope. When I sit here and think about the Democrats' fake hero crisis, it gives me hope because none of their heroes can last long, which means they're going to be looking for answers. They're going to be looking for solutions from someone else. They're going to be looking for objective truth. So maybe they'll be looking for the Carl Jackson Show podcast, Gabe, because this is where we deliver your daily dose of objective truth in a world of confusion and lies. So maybe some people will eventually subscribe to this podcast. I hope they do. SalemPodcastNetwork.com, the CarlJacksonShow.com. So I hope they will subscribe and they will find truth because eventually they will, because they've got nothing but fake heroes. They got Brittany Griner. And it isn't my goal to demean her, but I'm so frustrated. And I know you guys are too. This trade with Brittany Griner is stupid. Listen, if I'm being honest and if I'm being frank with you, I don't even know. There's a lot of my colleagues that may believe so, or at least apparently are frustrated enough to say, man, if we were going to trade someone, it should have been Paul Whelan. I don't know. You know, maybe Paul Whelan was a spy. Maybe he wasn't. I certainly want him to come home. I wanted Brittany Griner to come home. The question is, there's a different question at hand. Is trading the merchant of death, politically speaking? I'm not talking about the value of life. God created every single one of us. So in that sense, we're all equal, right? But when you're talking about politics, when you're talking about a fallen world, Brittany Griner certainly wasn't deserving of a swap. I mean, this guy is talking about the merchant of death. Victor Bout is already saying he's going back to help Putin fight the war in Ukraine. Joe Biden, you're a complete and utter moron. A foreign policy disaster you are, with the Afghanistan withdrawal, the open borders, fentanyl crime, human and sex trafficking of children and minors and people that are entering into this country illegally, not to mention spreading God knows what other types of illnesses or diseases, perhaps, that we've not been accustomed to in America for God knows how long. It's absolutely insane. This guy's a foreign policy disaster. But I want to get into this. I think where I'm going to start here, because I got a couple of videos that I want to play for you. And Gabe, man, I forget the name of this gentleman again. I believe this is Representative Comer. Thank you. Representative Comer of Kentucky. And I want you guys to hear this, because where we're gonna start is with Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. And I want you to understand, Hunter Biden is a crackhead that loves prostitutes or what have you. His son or his dad is using him or was using him to enrich himself. I think Joe Biden is a mob boss. That is my opinion. I want you to hear the charges that are being leveled at the Biden crime family by Representative Gomer here. These guys obviously know a lot. They knew what was going on. Let's play the video. And please, guys, subscribe to my YouTube channel and subscribe to Rumble so you can watch this video live and not just hear the audio. All you have to do is go to the Carl Jackson Show on rumble.com or youtube.com and subscribe to our channel there. Gabe, please roll the video, por favor.
We are releasing a report today that details what we have uncovered. We are also sending letters to the Biden administration officials and Biden family associates renewing our request for voluntary production of documents relevant to this investigation. This is an investigation of Joe Biden, the President of the United States, and why he lied to the American people about his knowledge and participation in his family's international business schemes. National security interests require the committee conduct investigation, and we will pursue all avenues that have long been ignored. Committee Republicans have uncovered evidence of federal crimes committed by and to the benefit of members of the president's family. These include conspiracy or defrauding the United States, wire fraud, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, violation of the Foreign Agents Registration Act, violations of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, violations of the Trafficking Victims Protection Act, tax evasion, money laundering, and conspiracy to commit money laundering. The Biden family's business dealings implicate a wide range of criminality, from human trafficking to potential violations of the Constitution. In the 118th Congress, this committee will evaluate the status of Joe Biden's relationship with his family's foreign partners and whether he is a president who is compromised or swayed by foreign dollars and influence. I want to be clear. This is an investigation of Joe Biden, and that's where the committee will focus in this next Congress.
Man, love it. Suck it now. It's so funny because some of the same charges are being lobbied or being heralded at or thrown at Sam Bankman-Fried. So we'll get into that as well. But again, I wanted to start with this Hunter Biden story because it is a story about Joe Biden, and I think Peter Schweitzer in his book Red Handed outlined that perfectly. Also, his book Secret Empires and Profiles in Corruption. He had this thing pegged, and not to mention what Miranda Devine and also what is the lady from Breitbart News? Let me get her name. Emma Jo Morris's reporting and investigative work at the New York Post. They outlined some of the corruption that existed right on the laptop, on Hunter Biden's laptop. This is information that there's evidence for. There's evidence for. So what the Hunter Biden team is going to do, they're going to double down on stupid it looks to be. So Breitbart is reporting that Hunter Biden team plans offensive to the White House dismay. So the White House doesn't want this to occur. But according to Breitbart, Hunter Biden has retained a Hollywood attorney, a guy by the name of Kevin Morris. And he wants to push back, and he wants to push back aggressively against the GOP and their investigation. He wants Hunter Biden to remain in the public eye, along with suing conservative media outlets and networks and some Republicans. Again, I told you about Eric Trump and Fox News were the latest headlines that I saw, where Hunter Biden's attorney wants to go on the offensive. And this is the way Democrats roll. But ultimately, the issue is getting to Joe Biden. All right. That's the major issue. Others in the Biden orbit believe that Hunter Biden basically needs to shut up. He needs to stay out of the public view and allow the White House and the congressional Democrats to continue running interference for him. Also, big tech has been doing this. They're not. They're still doing it with the exception of Twitter and other alternative sites now like Truth Social and Getter that exist out there, where you don't have to worry about being censored. By the way, I'm on Truth Social, The Carl Jackson Show. All right. I'm on Getter, The Carl Jackson Show. So you can follow me there. Also at Twitter and Facebook. I see Facebook is kind of slowing down my momentum there. But if enough of you will like my Facebook page and start sharing those messages, we'll get beyond these little punk behind gatekeepers that exist on these social media platforms. And hopefully the Republican Party will have the courage to do something about it. But again, Hunter Biden is doubling down on stupid. He wants this lawyer to be aggressive. This lawyer is recommending that he is aggressive again against the Republican investigation and against conservative outlets. I hope they do so. Why? Because I explained it earlier in the podcast. Because if they double down on stupid, which it appears Hunter Biden wants to do, if they double down on stupid, then that means that an attorney for the GOP or the GOP themselves, they can depose this guy, Hunter Biden, right? They can make him sit there in a deposition and answer questions. They can get discovery that he and his attorneys will have to provide, and all of this stuff that Hunter Biden was trying to keep. Actually, I'm not even sure that he cares. The guy appears to have no shame whatsoever. But nonetheless, a lot of people will be hearing the evidence behind the Hunter Biden laptop story for the first time. He may be too dumb to realize how damaging that's going to be to his father, or he simply doesn't care. There was a letter that I read on air. I can't remember I can't remember everything that was in it, but basically he was dogging his dad. He was calling his dad out. He may not care. He simply may not care. Listen, I don't care if this nonsense gets out. This is what I was doing for you, Dad, so on, etc. It was like a dear, I don't know. It was a weird letter to his dad, but he was calling his dad out to some degree. But again, those in the Biden orbit in the White House thinks this is a bad idea. So this attorney for Hunter Biden wants to, he's working to compile some opposition research on who? You guys remember Tony Bobulinski? Remember Tony Bobulinski that told us about the meetings with the big guy So Hunter Biden's attorney, now if this story isn't true, right, he's admitting, essentially his attorney is admitting this story is true by wanting to go after Tony Bobolinsky. They also want to go after the laptop repair guy, the guy John Paul Mac Isaac. They want to go after him. This is insane. This is stupid, but let them go after him. I feel sorry for John Paul Mac Isaac. He has a book out now. We're going to have to book him. Gabe, don't let me forget to ask Mr. Matos to book this guy. But John Paul Mac Isaac, they're going to go after him. I think this is dumb. This is dumb. But I want you guys to hear this. According to Washington Post, Matt Visor and Michael Scherer, the team members include, this is Hunter Biden's attorney team. They include Chris Clark. That's a lawyer that's currently handling the Justice Department investigation into Hunter's alleged gun and tax violations. All right. Do you understand what I just said? The DOJ, a lawyer for the DOJ that's currently involved in investigating Hunter's alleged gun and tax violations are now on his team to go after the GOP. If that is not corruption, I don't know what is. This is insane. But you know what? Let them do it, because this is the first time some independent-minded people, or perhaps some Democrats that are willing to walk away, might hear of Tony Bobolinsky, might hear of the laptop story, not just the story, but the evidence for the first time. So I welcome that. And a kind of in-your-face conservatives. Here's what Breitbart reports as well. Disagreement reportedly exists between Morris and the White House. Again, that's Hunter Biden's attorney, about how the Biden family should combat the investigations into the family business. Morris, who gave Hunter, listen to this, $2 million to pay off his to pay for the IRS, pay the IRS for delinquent taxes, wants Hunter to remain in the public eye by attending oh my God. He wants them to remain in the public eye by attending White House dinners, functions, so on, etc. I mean, this is insane. This is insane. And no one thinks putting Hunter Biden in front of the media, in front of the world, or making him the center of attention inside of the White House is a good idea. There was a spokesperson for the White House, and they made this comment to the Washington Post. They were anonymous, however, and they said, no one thinks, and I'm quoting, this strategy of putting Hunter Biden front and center is smart. And the person continued, no one, including the White House, thinks that is a smart strategy, but they may do it anyway. Despite, I mean, I don't know what Hunter's motivations are, but I suspect he's kind of like, screw you, Dad. I'm going to do what I want. And he's a spoiled brat as well, so he's going to get away with what they want. Now, the White House, they've signaled that they're not going to supply with any GOP subpoenas that are seeking any information related to Hunter's role in the Biden family business. They've also made clear, or they've also made the argument that Hunter Biden is a private citizen, so it's none of their business. Now, let's pretend like Hunter Biden is named Eric Trump or Donald Trump Jr., right? And I know a lot of you out there that might be, let's not do that. What about? No, that's important. The whataboutisms are important because that lets us know that we no longer live under a rule of law. Right? We no longer have equality under the law. So that's why I talk about whataboutisms and why they're still important. The chairman for the RNC, Elisa Stefanik, or she's the GOP conference chair, I should say. She said, and I quote, one thing is clear, the facts are revealing that Joe Biden is compromised, and the new majority House Republicans will use our subpoena power to expose how deep Hunter Biden and the entire Biden's family corruption goes and hold this administration accountable. She said, we already knew Hunter Biden made millions off of his corrupt business dealings with the Chinese Communist Party. We must know how far Hunter Biden's corruption goes as a matter of national security. Now, if you listen to Representative James Comer of Kentucky, this guy knew what he was talking about. He's been on shows. He's given interviews where he's so matter of fact. He's not sitting there like, yeah, we may have this. We want to ask questions about this. He's like, no, boom, boom, boom. This is what they've done. These people have the dirt on the mob boss that happens to be sitting in the White House and his crackhead son. They have all of the information they need, but obviously the goal is to go after Joe Biden. Why go after Joe Biden? Because Hunter Biden is a nobody, and he would be a nobody were it not for his father's power, whether it's in the Senate, whether it was in the vice presidency, and now being the president-elect of the United States of America. So that's why this is a story about Joe Biden, because Hunter Biden would not have been able to enrich himself and get around the people, world leaders that he was able to get around with were it not for Joe Biden. All right. So moving on now. Let's get to this guy, SBF. And I want to take a quick swig here. And we're talking about the Democrats' fake hero crisis. So SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, is coming to the realization that he's no longer useful to the Democrat Party. He can no longer donate to the Democrat Party. As a matter of fact, they may have to give back some, if not all, of the money that he has donated. He's no longer useful. It's really important when and how this fool has been arrested. I want to, where is the story? All right, here it is. Hat tip. This is another, I read from the Hill, but also, actually, this one is from Just the News, but I read some stuff on the Hill as well. But let me just share this because this is really quick. So SEC charges FTX's Sam Bankman-Fried with defrauding investors, according to Just the News. As a matter of fact, Daily Wire had just reported it. It just broke a little while ago. That's what I was thinking of. The charges that he's being. Okay, here's what the New York Times reported, according to the Daily Wire, that Bankman-Fried, SBF, is facing charges of wire fraud conspiracy, securities fraud conspiracy, and money laundering. In other words, if he's found guilty of these charges, he's going to be spending a long time in prison. This is a guy from went to being, completely spoiled, multi-billionaire, using other people's money in a way in which he shouldn't have. He had that Alameda research and basically investment firm being run separately from the crypto exchange FTX company that he had, using other people's money instead of locking away people's money or setting aside people's money that were using the security exchange of FTX. He was using that money, their money, in order to place money into Alameda research. The guy was a complete and utter fraud. And I mean, the people that donated apparently didn't do any investigation, or at least not thorough enough investigation. I guess they believed, hey, Democrats are cozy with this guy. We can, politicians, we can rely on this guy. We can trust this guy. After all, we've already experienced Enron. No way any politicians will be dumb enough to put us through that or allow us to go through that. So I guess we can trust this guy. No, apparently not. And now he's no longer useful. And as a matter of fact, I think he's a threat to the Democratic Party. I think he's a threat to the Democratic machine, the Democratic apparatus, in which he used other people's money to form to finance get out the vote operations, just like Mark Zuckerberg did in 2020. He and George Soros did it for 2022. Now, George Soros has been doing it for quite some time, but SBF was the second largest donor to the Democrats, only after George Soros. All right, both billionaires. So it looks like this guy may be headed to jail, for quite some time. So the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission on Tuesday charged SBF and the former charged the founder and former CEO of the defunct cryptocurrency firm FTX with defrauding investors. And again, I just told you the latest charges that Daily Wire has reported on, or New York Times reported on, and Daily Wire snagged that, and I just read from the Daily Wire. Here's what the SEC chair Gary Gensler said. We allege that Sam Bankman-Fried built a house of cards on a foundation of deception while telling investors that it was one of the safest buildings in crypto. Obviously, this guy lied, but I don't trust any other people involved. Let me give you the story from Breitbart. It's a little more detailed. All right. So Democrat MAGA donor FTX and founder Sam SBF was arrested again in Bahamas on Monday hours before, this is really important. This is why, Carl, you're reading the same thing. No, actually, I'm not. A few words that are the same, but I want you to understand what's going on. Something different is going on here. I want you to put on your thinking caps. Something is happening here. Sam Bankman-Fried, this guy, we found out quite a while ago now that he was a complete and utter fraud, that he has perpetrated perhaps the largest Ponzi scheme in American history, perhaps world history, and the guy was still roaming free in the Bahamas. Until now. So let me go back to this. Democrat mega donor and FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried was arrested in the Bahamas on Monday, just hours before he was scheduled to testify in front of the House Financial Services Committee on Tuesday. So right before he was scheduled to testify in front of the House Financial Services Committee on Tuesday, he was finally arrested. Bankman-Fried was arrested after U.S. authorities filed criminal charges against him. U.S. attorneys confirmed. Here's the U.S. attorney Damian Williams. Earlier this evening, Bahamian authorities arrested Samuel Bankman-Fried at the request of the U.S. government based on a sealed indictment filed by the Southern District of New York. The same Southern District of New York that was bullying Trump. They go on to say, we expect to move to unseal the indictment in the morning, and we'll have more to say at that time. All right, Lee Zeldin just ran for the governorship of New York. He lost, but he ran a valiant race, securing the House of Representatives for the Republican Party. Who would have thought we would have ever heard of that? New York and the state of California securing the House of Representatives for the Republican Party, at least in modern history. Who would have thought we would have heard of that? But Lee Zeldin said this, because he's still a congressman. On the Hill, he says, quote, tomorrow, Sam Bankman-Fried was scheduled to testify in front of the House Financial Services Committee. And this was yesterday, as a matter of fact. And he says the House GOP was ready to grill him 6 ways to Sunday. And then he goes on to say, now breaking the night, as of last night, FBF was just arrested. Why not allow him to first testify tomorrow and answer our many questions? Well, Lee Zeldin knows the answer. He's a smart guy. All right. And I believe he's an attorney. It goes back to what the White House wants to do with Hunter Biden. They just want him to shut up, and they want to handle the story. Let them handle the story. If this guy is in jail, if this guy is locked away, this guy has an attorney, they're going to tell him to shut up. Otherwise, this guy is going to get Epstein. Now, he had already recently dodged Chairwoman Maxine Waters' request to testify in front of the House Financial Services Committee, but he wasn't going to avoid it this time. The guy even thought that he wouldn't be arrested. He went on. He told Waters and the Maxine Waters and the committee last week that he is quote, not sure if he would be finished, quote, learning and reviewing what happened, close quote, with FTX before the committee wanted him to testify on December 13th. Oh, okay. And so you just scammed a million people out of billions of dollars, and you just come in whenever you want to. However, on Monday, during a Twitter Space interview just hours before his arrest, Bankman-Fried confirmed that he would appear remotely before the House Finance. So he confirmed that he would appear. So they had to arrest his behind because they don't want you to know what he knew, what he was giving to. See, he's no longer useful to them, but I guarantee you what SBF discovered was, hey, you scratch our backs and we'll scratch your back, SBF. You don't think they knew that this fool was running a Ponzi scheme? Hiding out in the Bahamas? You don't think Democrats knew? Of course they did. In my opinion, of course they did. But that's coming down. But again, this is a fake hero. See, the Democrats like making money. They like schmoozing with billionaires. They like all of the acclaim and the notoriety that he was getting. They wanted to be part of that. They want to be a part of an elite society, an elite culture. And this is what happens when you're morally bankrupt. This is what happens. You look for fake heroes like this. You look for the Hunter Bidens of the world. You look for the SBFs of the world. You look for the Brittany Griners of the world. So that brings me to Brittany Griner, the WNBA. They call her a star. Listen, she may be a great player. I don't know. I don't watch the WNBA. I'm not lying to you when I tell you that I always forget the WNBA exists until I see some type of ad or commercial. I'm watching something else, WNBA season, and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot they even exist. And I don't say that to be mean. That just lets you know, listen, these people are losing money every season. They don't make any money, yet they want to be paid the same as men. The game isn't as women playing basketball isn't as entertaining as men playing basketball. It's as simple as that. So they're not going to make any money unless there's a welfare system. That's the only way these people are going to make money is if there's a welfare system. All right. So that's who Brittany Griner is. She's a WNBA player. That's it. She dribbles a basketball. Now you just traded, and again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but you just traded this chick, this black lesbian chick, because she's a black. Because I don't care about this, but the only reason I'm saying she's a black lesbian chick is because you traded her Joe Biden. You traded her for identity politics reason, for no other reason than that. And you're a freaking moron. Not only did we have the Afghanistan debacle, now you're trading a basketball player for the merchant of death, a man who is now committed to Vladimir Putin, that he will help him in his fight against Ukrainians, apparently, or supposedly, I should say, this fight that you want to win. This guy, okay, I want to believe that Joe Biden is corrupt as hell, because he is. I want to believe that Joe Biden is a scammer of sorts, because he is. But there's also just an element of incompetence that's obvious. These people are so out of their league. Not just him, his entire staff. They are so out of their league. They can't see 2 feet in front of them. You're going to let out the merchant of death? This guy that was selling arms to, who was it? To this group, FARC? That we're going to kill Americans? And I'm talking about massive armory, massive weaponry, massive amounts of ammunition. You're going to trade him for a black lesbian chick that dribbles a basketball? Are you insane? And again, that isn't to say I'm a Christian. That isn't to say that her life doesn't have value. It does. That isn't to say, Paul, and I mentioned this at the beginning, I don't even know that a Paul Whelan trade is worthy or worthy of a swap for the merchant of death. Was he a spy? Paul Whelan? I don't know. Maybe. Obviously, he denies it. Russia says he's a spy. I don't know. You don't know. But even if he were, I don't know what type of information, what type of spy, what type of information he ascertained. Was he capable? Did he do as much damage to to Russia, to Putin, as the merchant of death was prepared to do to American soldiers on the battlefield? I don't know. But it does make sense to me that he is a military hero, so that if anyone were going to be traded, if anyone were going to be swapped, if he is a spy, or even if he isn't, it would make more sense that he was there longer. He actually fought for the country instead of kneeling or being anti-American as Brittany Griner was. Hopefully she's no longer, but if she is, oh my goodness, man. Woo, that's going to be so freaking annoying. It's maddening. And but this is, again, Democrats have fake heroes. They have fake heroes, and look at what all it does is destroy civil society. All it's doing is destroying the greatest country that God has ever given man. This is the consequence of having fake heroes. You're willing to trade a black lesbian chick that dribbles a basketball for a man that can cause mass casualties on the battlefield against Americans and American allies, and who is now committed to doing just that. Committed to Vladimir Putin to do just that. Congratulations, you freaking moron, the mob boss, Joe Biden. Unbelievable. Disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. Fentanyl, a crisis in America because of the open border. Criminal crisis, new criminal elements from illegal aliens, sex trafficking, human trafficking, you name it. And we trade the merchant of death for a basketball player. Unbelievable. Fake heroes. The left's fake heroes are going to destroy this country. It's as simple as that. Now, I want to take you through the latest or the last story, and that is I want to talk about this Twitter Files Part 5. All right. Now, I know everyone's been talking about this ad nauseum. This is one of the most important stories, I think, in American history. And I think it will go down as such because I do believe, in my opinion, that this travesty, this censorship by Twitter executives changed the course of American history. Hopefully just for a brief period of time, but maybe not. It could be the downfall. We'll have to wait and see. And we're going to continue to fight as constitutional restorationists to try to make sure that that doesn't happen. But man, this is a massive story. Let me just find the story. Let me get back on my laptop here. And before we do this, tell you what, I see Gabe has got the video already ready to go. So let's go to the video. This is Jen Psaki, because the White House has been talking about how, they didn't know about censorship and all this kind of stuff. They didn't play a part. That's what the not so notorious KGP has been saying. However, Jen Psaki, or Jen Psaki, however you would like to say it, sang a different tune. So, Gabe, let's hear the video, por favor.
In terms of actions, Alex, that we have taken, or we're working to take, I should say, from the federal government, we've increased disinformation research and tracking within the Surgeon General's office. We're flagging problematic posts for Facebook that spread disinformation. We're working with doctors and medical professionals to connect to connected medical experts who are popular with their audiences with accurate information and boost trusted content. So we're helping get trusted content out there. We also created the COVID Community Corps to get factual information into the hands of local messengers. And we're also investing, as you all have seen, in the president's, the vice president's, and Dr. Fauci's time.
Great. Well, we appreciate the information, Jen Psaki. I appreciate you proving me correct. I really do. Yeah, of course, these people were all over this censorship. They played a part of it. The Federalist has a headline. This is from such a great writer and attorney at the Federalist, Margot Cleveland. She writes, and I haven't gone through the article, but she has a headline: Twitter files overshadow the bigger scandal. The FBI lied to tech giants to interfere in an election. Or in elections, she says. And that's the big story. Our FBI interfered in election. They were willing to lie to these useful idiots in Silicon Valley in order to stop Donald Trump from winning. This isn't even about Donald Trump per se, although it is. There's a bigger issue at hand. You have an FBI under the leadership of the DOJ at the time willing to interfere in an election. Why? Not only did the FBI prompt Twitter and Facebook to censor the Hunter Biden laptop story, the Bureau did so by deceiving the companies, Margot Cleveland said. I want to go through the latest Twitter files Part 5, if you will, or at least some of them. Basically, this one was to Barry Weiss again, and she does Part 5. And this is Part 4 and 5 have been the removal of Donald Trump permanently from Twitter. That was the aim. She talks about on the morning of January 8th, Donald Trump, with one remaining strike before being at risk of permanent suspension from Twitter, tweets twice. This is actually, I'm just going to go through it because it's relatively quick compared to some of the others. And in case you have not read it or heard it, I'm going to go through it so that you hear it in its entirety. I promise this will not take long. By the way, please support. Actually, I'll get to. Yeah, please support my sponsors, mypillow.com. Also, support Epic TV. You can subscribe, watch epic.com/Carl Jackson, and subscribe for the next 10 or so days. For just $1, you get 2 months. So make sure you do that. Patriot Gold Group, or if you're looking for a great place to go to park some of your investment, a small portion of your portfolio. Major banks, as you know, are forecasting a 25% stock market plunge. The only break in inflation is through a recession. So Rich Dad, Poor Dad author Robert Kiyosaki said, and I quote, "The economy is the biggest bubble in history." Kiyosaki also said, or he bought more gold, predicting 300 or 3,000 dollars an ounce in a year. And billionaire economists agree that we're heading toward a recession and investors need to buy gold. So make sure you call the Patriot Gold Group today. Mention the Carl Jackson Show and get best-in-class service from Patriots, protecting Patriots. Call 888-534-3665 for a free investor guide today. Okay, now getting back to the Twitter file strand. Number 2, this is Trump at 6:46 a.m. and he tweeted this on January 8th. The 75 million, great American patriots who voted for me, America First, and Make America Great Again will have a giant voice long into the future. They will not be disrespected or treated unfairly in any way, he says, shape, or form. Twitter thread. This is thread number 3. I'm sorry, it's a little confusing here. I'm reading it off the laptop, and I don't even see number 3 here. Okay, 7:44 a.m. To all of those who have asked, I will not be going to the inauguration on January 20th, Trump says. For years, Twitter had resisted calls. This is Barry Weiss, both internal and external, to ban Trump on the grounds that blocking a world leader from the platform or removing their controversial tweets would hide important information that people should be able to see and debate. All right. Number 5, our mission, according to Twitter, is to provide a forum that enables people to be informed and to engage their leaders directly. You can't engage them if they're not there, right? Former Twitter execs. They say this is what the company wrote in 2019. Twitter's aim was, quote, to protect the public's right to hear from their leaders and to hold them to account. All right, that's what they wanted the people to do, but they decided to take matters into their own hands, apparently. Threat 6, but after January 6th, as Taibbi and Schellenberger explain or have documented, pressure grew both inside and outside of Twitter to ban Trump. Number 7, there was dissenters inside of Twitter. Maybe because I am from China, so you got one dissenter. Maybe because I am from China, and I'm quoting here, said one employee on January 7th, I deeply understand how censorship can destroy the public conversation. Man, they should have listened to that guy, that one guy. I think there were 7,500 employees at Twitter. They should have listened to that one guy. But voices like that one appear to have been a distinct minority within the company across Slack channels, and that's where the top execs communicated. Many Twitter employees were upset that Trump hadn't been banned earlier. Really? Man, they just have a blatant disregard for free speech. Not to be confused with the First Amendment. I heard, good Lord, I heard the attorney, he's Greg Jarrett. He's on Dr. Sebastian Gorka's show the other day, and he made a great distinction. And I want to make sure that I make that same distinction. And that is there's a difference between free speech and the First Amendment. When the government violates your right for free speech, now that is a First Amendment assault. That is wrong. That is a violation against free speech. What these people did were violate the principles of free speech. Not to mention, they misinformed their clients, right? They lied to their clients, essentially. And they abandoned their own rules and standards in order to make this occur. The permanent ban of Trump, who's now back on, thanks to Elon Musk. All right. Again, going back to number 9, after January 6th, Twitter employees organized to demand their employer ban Trump. So Twitter employees organized. There's a lot of employee advocacy happening, said one Twitter employee here. So they thought that the executives should have cared about all of these peons that didn't, smart people, I'm sure, but people that are totally anti-American, anti-free speech, in my opinion. If you're anti-First Amendment, you're anti-free speech. You know, I'm a free speech absolutist. I wasn't always. I'll be completely. I was not always, but as I've evolved, listen, I want all these ideas in the arena of ideas, and I believe that the best ideas, the most moral, if they're allowed to be argued, will come to the top. That's what I genuinely believe. All right. Number 10, we have to do the right thing and ban this account, said one staffer. It's pretty obvious he's going to try to thread the needle of incitement without violating the rules. Like Trump knew all the rules of Twitter besides tweeting. Like he had time as the president to let me scroll through Twitter and figure out all of their rules. And we came to find out he didn't violate any rules. All right. Number 11, in the early afternoon of January 8th, the Washington Post published an open letter signed by over 300 Twitter employees to CEO Jack Dorsey demanding Trump's ban. The employees demanding Trump's ban. You see, that didn't happen with Elon Musk. Elon Musk came in and right away he let people know who the boss was. Apparently, Jack Dorsey never did that. We must examine Twitter's complicity in what President-elect Biden has rightly termed insurrection. So these useful idiots are calling it an insurrection when there were no weapons by these people, by Trump supporters, or by the people that perhaps weren't Trump supporters, or as far as I know, even the FBI informants, wink, wink, that were infiltrated inside of the crowd, if you will. I don't know that they had weapons. Maybe they did. They probably did if they were FBI informants of some sort. But I'm not sure. But it was Ashley Babbitt that was shot and killed, a Trump supporter. All right, number 12. But the Twitter staff assigned to evaluate tweets quickly concluded that Trump had, quote, not violated Twitter's policies. I think we'd have a hard time saying this is incitement. So they knew it. These little liars knew it. Unfreaking believable, man. It upsets me to all in. It should upset you as well, I hope. It goes on to say, number 13, it's pretty clear he's saying the American patriots are the ones who voted for him and not the terrorists. We can call them that, right? This is from Wednesday. Number 14, another staffer agreed. Don't see the incitement angle here. So they knew. He didn't violate any rules. He didn't incite any violence. They knew all along, and they just lied. And the Democrats and the FBI use them. And I got to tell you, when we're talking about the FBI right now, we're talking about one and the same. I understand that there's probably some good rank and file guys that are there just doing their job, so to speak. But when you have leadership that's so corrupt, when you have an organization that's just so corrupted, you just have to break it up. You just have to break it up. I also am not seeing clear coded incitement in the DJT tweet, Donald J. Trump tweet, wrote Anika Navaroli, a Twitter policy official. I'll respond in the elections channel and say that our team has assessed and found no bios, means violations, for the DJT one, Donald J. Trump one. She does just that as an FYI. Safety has assessed the DJT tweet above and determined that there is no violation of our policies at this time. Number 17, later, Navaroli would testify to the House January 6th committee. For months, I had been begging and anticipating and attempting to raise the reality that if we made no intervention into what I saw occurring, people were going to die. So here she is. She changes her tune in front of the January 6th committee. The very freaking lady at Twitter that was at one point in time talking about that she saw she saw nothing. She assessed nothing, no violations from Donald Trump. She gets in front of the politicized. That's why you know it's politicized. These people were willing. Thank God Elon Musk is allowing this stuff to be exposed. Just a bunch of fake and phony, some fake heroes pretending to be these people that are stopping the incitement and violence. But all along behind the scenes, they knew their behinds were freaking lying. And then they have the nerve, this chick has the nerve to go in front of the January 6th committee, the bunch of frauds that existed there, along with Liz Cheney and Kinzinger and all of those freaking phonies, all of those fake moralists, and pretend like they were saving the country when all the while behind the scenes they were reporting, oh, no violations here, no violations from Trump. He didn't incite violence. I don't care what you feel about Trump. These freaking people are destroying the country. These fake heroes that the left look up to. I don't care if it's the Twitter, Silicon Valley, freaking academics and oligarchs, whether it's Hunter Biden's, the little spoiled brats of the world. It's insane what's going on. It's absolutely insane. I mean, I can go through this Twitter thread. I don't want to bore you with all of it. I've retweeted all of it on my social media. On Twitter, I've retweeted all of it. All right, so please go there and read the rest. I just want you to know that they knew all along. They lied about it. The DOJ or the FBI was involved in this. You guys have seen that. Twitter did suppress the Hunter Biden laptop story. We're just finding out more and more and more about these gatekeepers of free speech. They're basically they're the arm of the Democrat Party at this point. They are the arm of the Democrat Party. Let me just read a few more. To understand Twitter's decision to ban Trump, we must consider how Twitter deals with other heads of state and political leaders, including Iran, Nigeria, and Ethiopia. This goes down to number 19. And thread 20, she says, in June 2018, Iran's Ayatollah Ali Khamenei tweeted Israel is a malignant cancerous tumor in the West Asian region that has to be removed and eradicated. It is possible, and it will happen. All right. What did Twitter do? Twitter neither deleted the tweet nor banned the Ayatollah. All right. In October 2020, the former Malaysian prime minister said it was a right for Muslims to quote, kill millions of French people, close quote. Twitter deleted his tweet for glorifying violence, but he remains on the platform to this day. The tweet below was taken from the Wayback Machine. Barry Weiss reports Muhammadu Buhari, the president of Nigeria, I know I chopped that up, incited violence against pro-Biafra groups. He says, those of us in the fields for 30 months who went through the war, he wrote, will treat them in the language they understand. He says Twitter deleted the tweet but didn't ban Buhari. In October 21, Twitter allowed Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed to call on citizens to take up arms against the Tigray region. Twitter allowed the tweet to remain up and did not ban the prime minister. All right, so that's just to give you some evidence that this was about banning Trump. This was about destroying Trump supporters. This was about interfering in an election. That's what it was about. They didn't care. Yeah, they didn't care about their standards at Twitter. They had a mission given to them by the FBI that they were going to uphold. Not to mention, there were some social justice warriors within Twitter that were willing to do it as well. That's what we're finding out. That's what we're finding out. Guys, I appreciate you tuning in to this edition of the Carl Jackson Show podcast. I really do. Again, please support my sponsors, Patriot Gold Group, patriotgoldgroup.com, or you can give them a call at 888-534-3665 for your free investor guide today. All you have to do is mention the Carl Jackson Show to get the best in-class service from Patriots, protecting Patriots. Also, don't forget, you got a very limited time to subscribe to Epic TV and get for just $1, you get 2 months of service. All right, so go to watchepic.com/Carl Jackson and subscribe. And again, for all of you listening, you only got it's December 13th. You only got about 10 days or so for that. So $1, 2 months. Watchepic.com/Carl Jackson and subscribe right there. And then don't forget My Pillow right now. The original My Pillow slippers are back, $90 off. They're only $49.98. Christmas is coming up fast. If you have not made a purchase, don't scurry around town panicking. Just go to mypillow.com, click on that radio listener square, use my name, Carl, C-A-R-L, give them a call, 1-800-858-0263. Take advantage of this deal and all deals available to my listeners at mypillow.com. Use the promo code Carl. Guys, I appreciate you tuning in to this edition of the Carl Jackson Show podcast. And until next time, don't grow weary doing good. God bless you.